Hi everybody! Welcome to the stream! Alright. I think today is the day we're gonna try and finish the refactor. I really went to work on this yesterday, but I wasn't feeling good, so we didn't get to. Today we're going to get to. And hopefully it turns out good. Alright. Ooh, one thing before I forget. Want to adjust the temperature now instead of later. Alright, so I went ahead and hit build, so it's going to try and rebuild the project. Essentially, we are in the middle of fixing like compile errors and stuff within the project. So it looks like before we used trailEffect.h. Oh, right. We're transferring all these from being like inline, which means like all their declarations and definitions are in one header file, to being stored in separate header and CPP files. Separate implementation files, separate declaration file. The reason for doing that is because I believe we run into an issue where we have to reference like the header file in the effect types header, but then we need to reference the effects header inside of the actual class itself. So yeah, I think we found out like for trail effect, we would need to reference an effect and vice versa. And that wasn't possible like that. And then I think the same thing is going to happen for the others. So we're quickly going to adjust these. Oh, also the types that are contained within, it's not bullet type. I don't know why I'm in bullet type. Oh, I guess it was needed in bullet type. Excuse me. But now they're all under effect types. But the list for effect.h is now going to be updated with new stuff. So for example, here's blackhole.h, which originally contained these two inlined. We're going to break that up a little. Because essentially what's going to happen is the black hole doesn't exist as an effect type to be added to the variant. And so we need to add it, but by adding it here, it's currently undefined, or it might be forward declared. And we can't forward declare it, unfortunately, because the compiler has to know in advance how large the type is. So because of that, we need to include blackhole.h in here, but if we do, blackhole.h includes effect.h, now you have a circular include problem, and that results in that. So that's why we have to do this. And that's fine. I've mentioned before that when I've tried to take these shortcuts of inlining all the definitions, it never ends up working out, and it's for this very reason. Like, this happens more often than I would like. Like, I try to take a shortcut, and then I'm like, it never works out. So this is gonna go under effect types.h. So we're just moving them into there, and these are gonna be the black hole functions declared here. And then in here, we're going to move this out. And then we can get rid of blackhole.h. We should be good. The only thing we have to do is get rid of the defaults that are default arguments that are specified inside the constructor. That does have to go away. So yeah, like these, the compiler will say that they are redefined, which is not what we want. And then we'll have to include monster list in here. So include defines, and then we can include monster list, like so. Hi there, Critone. Welcome. Yeah, not too late. Welcome, welcome. Then I will get rid of blackhole.h. And then we have expanding ring.h. And again, none of these are inside effect types currently. Or effect.h. So literally the variant has no clue about these objects at the moment. So do the same thing. we'll move expanding ring into effect types, and then move the inline functions into its own source file. I feel like I should just rename the header file. Rename it, and then I can just refactor this kinda. Repurpose it, I should say. Like so. Okay. So that should work. And then we have the fall effect. Okay. So we have fall. Oh, did I remove defaults? I did not. Make sure we do that. Yeah, almost forgot a step. Okay. Good. Alright, fall effect. So this should be at the bottom of this file. And then these two. Wait, wrong file. Should be under effect types.h. I swear I moved it to this side. Am I crazy? Effect types.h. Okay. And then, oh, I need to get rid of these. These are no longer inline, and neither are these. Have to make sure those keywords are gone. Okay. Then these guys are for fall effect, so I'm gonna change this now from a header to a CPP file. Hi there, PS protected system. Welcome to the stream. We're currently fixing up some code to get our refactor for our game finally compiling. Doing a couple of maintenance things right now, such as these classes having to be separated into CPP and header files separately, because otherwise we end up with circular includes, and that's no fun. Okay, and then I'll remove the declarations for these. And I have to remove the inline keyword. Oops. So this game is an action-adventure role-playing game. Think of like SNES era, like Secret of Mana, games around that era of time. And recently we had to refactor the effect particle system, because having a particle system that constantly allocates memory on the heap is a very bad idea. Do not recommend. So it's been like that for a while, and we are now feeling the repercussions of that. Falling debris. Why is falling debris called fall effect? What is going on? This is falling debris.h and has class fall effect. Wow, wait, what was fall effect.h? Is that just... wait, well, I deleted it, but what? I'm confused. Then what did this have? This had inline fall effect and update. I'm so confused. Did I just have two fall effect classes defined by accident before? Does anything use this include? I'm so confused. Falling debris.h. Okay, large stone apparently does, and it creates a fall effect. But see, it's called fall effect. It's not called falling debris, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on. Are these literally the same files? Like, I see here. So that's interesting. Here the gravity gets defined by the constructor. And then this one there's a default value of 20. And the gravity is not defined by default. That's so confusing. And then in the update function, we adjust Z here. Whereas in this one, we adjust the Y speed. Oh, that is so weird. And they're both called fall effect. So what this is reading to me like is, since we inlined both of them, I think the compiler just chose one and went with it. I do not have it on GitHub, but it is online. So I have a personally hosted Git instance, and the game is open source, so I host it on there. It's under... say, I guess I can link it. That would be the best idea, if you wanted to look at it by chance. Also, I think some modern browsers try to redirect to HTTPS, because I think my server is like does respond to HTTPS, but the repo is on HTTP, so you might have to force it to do HTTP. Just from others telling me that like it wasn't working, like their browsers were automatically redirecting to HTTPS for some reason. So yeah, it is an open source project in that sense. The only thing you don't get are the commercial assets. They're not included in the repo for copyright reasons. But that's kind of to be expected. But all the code I write daily, I commit to there. So now I had to figure out which one was intended. Like, so this one, the Y speed decreases, so it doesn't use the Z system. And the default gravity is 20. Whereas this one, it uses a type, so it purposely sets the type to... what? The type is... oh, okay, by default none. So I guess what we could do is wherever we included this, figure out which constructor we used. That'll tell us which one we have to keep the behavior of. It looks like for this one, I just did... how would I be able to tell? Upper level size, fade out speed, color. Okay, there's a gravity constant or value there. In this one, there is no gravity value. So this assumed we were using falling debris.h. Really cool. For game dev, I've only done some stuff with OpenGL. I don't know how you make a whole game. Well, the cool thing is, OpenGL is like a graphics framework, right? In the end, you try to abstract that so you don't have to deal with OpenGL. What I'm using right now is called the OLC Pixel Game Engine, and it essentially is a wrapper around the OpenGL itself. So it provides that as the graphics pipeline, and then gives you a bunch of helper functions for drawing things to the screen. So then you can focus on making a game versus having to worry about what textures are being loaded into the GPU and which shader you're using and all that stuff, right? Where's the camera? Yeah, I still get the certificate issue. Yeah, it's kind of finicky, but I do have to resolve that at some point, but that's like Linux admin stuff that I always put off because I'm kind of lazy about that. So, I apologize, that's not as simple as just being on GitHub. I pretty much retired my GitHub account because I got tired of it being like scraped essentially, so I stopped using that. Like, there was literally a point where my code was just being duplicated or forked constantly, and I'm like, that's kind of annoying. So I kind of stopped using it. So I think we want to keep this one. I want to see if there's any other instances that use this header. Because apparently we only use this constructor, so there's an include here under run towards. And here's another fall effect. Now this one... oh... okay, let me see. What is this util random one? Is this the... oh, this is the lifetime. Okay. So this is also using the one in this header file. The lifetime. Okay, so we have 2 for that one. And those are the only places in my code base that use it. So, we never used the one that was created under falling effect.h. So I guess this is the code we are implementing then. We have no use for the other one. Interesting. So I'll go ahead and include that. Let me flip these. So private is down here. Yes, scraped by AI and just... like... I understand the idea of open source, but it's like... if my code is just being like duplicated somewhere else, like, and somebody like just claiming it's their code, then I don't want people to just freely take it from GitHub. So I'd rather it not be like scraped by bots and stuff. Like taking code and claiming it as your own is not cool. So at least adding an additional step to get to it keeps it out of the hands of just like anybody getting to it by default. I mean, it's already happened a couple times with like past projects and stuff. So I just decided to abandon it like, what, 3 years ago or something? Maybe 4? And obviously now with like AI, just like there is a lot of scraping of repos on GitHub, so yeah, I just went off of it completely. Being self-hosted also makes sure that if for some reason GitHub is not working, which has happened a few times, I can still access my code at least. Not that my server has perfect uptime either, but at least I have access to my server at all times. So this is going to become the new fall effect.cpp. I can delete the other one. So I have no clue what the purpose of this other one was, but I apparently don't use it at all. Weird. I must have made it and forgot about it and then remade it, which is funny. And I guess that can happen completely by accident. Yeah, that's what I heard. Like, it's a real big issue right now. And even for my server, like my server was constantly being attacked by bots. That's why this whole thing is running. Like, literally keeps an eye on the access logs on my server and says, hey, a human doesn't check this page. You must be a bot or something. Like, that's literally why this script I have here runs, is it literally bans things that try to access, like, stuff that a human doesn't need to access. Like, it's just dumb. It's just wild. It's so wild. But yeah. Plus, moving stuff local means I just kind of have total control, right? That feels nice, at least. The internet has warped into a crazy place. And it's kind of funny, like, all of the internet now is, like, getting condensed into very few places, like social media platforms, versus, like, a long time ago on the internet when everybody would have, like, their own blog or their own website, and you just go browse these things. And the internet was more spread out, instead of condensed into a couple of platforms that have kind of taken over the world. Because now everybody posts on these, like, chat programs like Discord. Everybody posts on their social medias, on, like, a TikTok or an Instagram. You used to not know what you would find in the wild. And, like, Google searches now feel a lot more empty. Like, the only things that I find the most variation when I go looking up, like, old, like, code documentation for, like, how to do a fill algorithm for a filled triangle or something like that. Because there are web pages out there that exist of, like, tutorials that show that stuff. But a lot of Google searches for troubleshooting are like, oh, here's Stack Overflow, here's Reddit. And it's always one of those. And if you get a little deeper into the communities, it's like, oh, join this Discord, which has an FAQ with a document containing everything. It's like, what has this become? It's like, has the internet, like, decided it wants to shrink? Or, like, another good example I recently found was, like, a speedrunning community. I'm like, so the speedrunning community used to have, like, a website that, like, had all the speedrunning tricks and stuff on it, and it's kind of dated, so I'm like, there must be new stuff, because I'm seeing runs of people that do crazier stuff now. So I go looking, and I'm like, okay, there's a Discord, let me go see what's in the Discord. The Discord has a list of all the tricks and stuff. But to get to it, you have to find like the right channel with the right pinned stuff, and then you have to click the right links. And it's like, this is so much harder to find than being on a website I know has all the stuff on it. Yeah, and there's more going on with it now, but it's just examples of other problems I've run into in general. And yeah, you used to feel like an explorer when browsing the internet. Yeah, that was fun times. There used to be a website called Stumble Upon, right? And it would just lead you to all sorts of random sites. I don't even know if it exists anymore. It probably still exists. I don't think it's died, right? But okay, that's definitely not it. Stumble Upon was, okay, they used the keyword was, a website, browser extension toolbar mobile app with a stumble button that when pushed opened a semi-random website or video that matched the user's interests. Stumble Upon was shut down in June 2018. Damn. Good times. Oh man. And there's like company history stuff. Stumble Upon was shut down in June 2018 and its accounts were transitioned to Mix.com, another content discovery venture built in part through Camp's studio startup company Expa. Which, of course, it's like, here's an app you can download, because that's what we do nowadays. This looks like shit. This looks like a news page. A new kind of internet rabbit hole. Anyway, how did I learn graphics programming? There was a book I read, and I just kind of followed it. It's kind of old, but that's how I learned. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. I'd have to look for it. It's like, I don't know how I would find it again. I would have to dig deep somewhere. But I'll figure it out eventually. I literally had to email the author for the assets because the CD I got didn't have them. It literally came with the CD with the assets, and the CD didn't work. So I'm like, I need the assets because I want to practice the code on that book. Read it from Temu. All right, let me remove these inlines. And wait, this gets deleted. We don't need that anymore. These are not inline. And remove falling debris. It really doesn't matter, I'll be honest. If you're learning, it doesn't really matter. It's either whatever you can get your hands on, right? Or whatever you can make work. Although I've heard horror stories of working with Vulkan, so probably not Vulkan. The problem is Vulkan requires a lot of setup. But the one big complaint about using OpenGL, it's a giant global state machine. Like, you have to constantly set variables over and over. So it's not really intuitive for large programs because you have to constantly change the state of OpenGL. But definitely not Vulkan. It's like Hello Triangle and Vulkan can literally take you months. I've learned, I'm not even joking. I've like had people go like, I'm on week 2 and I'm almost done drawing a triangle. I'm like, that's insane. That's insane to me. What are you doing? Okay. But yeah, DirectX wasn't bad either. I actually used DirectX first a long time ago. And then OpenGL came from like more recent learning, which I find easy. OpenGL is nice. I tried to do DirectX, but when I went to the page on Microsoft, I felt like I was copy-pasting something. That's kind of how it is when learning at first. You kind of grab an example and you start experimenting, and you probably start reading their documentation with their API and be like, okay, this sounds like a useful function. Let me experiment with that, or find examples that use that code and go from there. It's kind of how you learn. You kind of can't just write your own code until you're familiar with the API, right? The people designing Vulkan looked at Windows API and said, we can do worse. Also, hi Moros. Hey, I randomly found this stream. What are you coding? So, this is an action-adventure role-playing game, and we're currently refactoring the effect system because I was originally heap allocating everything, which is very bad for like a particle system that can emit tons of particles, as I soon found out the hard way. So we don't do that anymore. At least we're not going to do that anymore because I'm fixing it. So that's what we're coding at this moment. But overall, yes, our goal is to finish building this action-adventure RPG game, which is a little more than halfway done. So I have expanding ring here. We just finished fixing fall effect, so that can go in here now. And I'm gonna need to include it in effect types. I thought I did that already. Fall effect, yes, so that's already included. Kind of. So I'm using a stack allocated array now. It's a fixed size, and I'm using a system where if we want to keep a reference of it somewhere in memory, then we kind of, it's almost like similar to like a weak pointer in that it knows what slot and what effect ID it originally came from. I think it was Jonathan Blow talking something, no, I think it was Casey talking about something called like a generative like incrementer designator or something. It's like the concept where you increase the value so you know you're getting a unique ID every time. That way you know if something's dead if the ID in that slot has changed. So I've gone with that route, although I've gone a little more experimental by trying to template it all out. So we'll see how that turns out. Yeah, it's a hard code game without an engine. It does use a framework called the OLC Pixel Game Engine, which essentially is a framework, a wrapper on top of OpenGL. Provides you with some like mouse and keyboard input stuff and easy ways to draw images on the screen. Let me see where we're at now. If I build this, we probably have to remove some includes, like for example in here. Yeah, this is not a thing. The one in here, this is not a thing. And then we should be closer to what we're looking for. What is your idea about learning CEF? The Chromium Embedded Framework. I don't know what that is. Casey is my spirit animal. I could tell by how much you talk about him when I bring him up. That's fun. But yeah, I listen to them yap about stuff all the time, just 'cause. Keeps my head sharp and just interested in what's out there in the world of programming, in the world of game development, or just general development. Because it's kind of fun to hear about how like their journey, right? Their journey through programming, how they got to where they were because of the problems and struggles they went through trying to do programming. CEF is Chrome, but if you want Chrome but don't want to install Chrome, you embed it into your own app. Oh, that's why it sounds familiar. It's like, it's kind of like how people put, what is it? Like, you know how Discord has, there's a name for that. Like how Discord has just like a web interface on, just built on the desktop app. OBS uses it. It's like that, but it's a different thing. Compiler has generated operator equals here. Okay. An operator equals is implicitly deleted. Why? What are we doing? Oh no, are my new classes I made not copyable? Oh no, we have to do this again. Oh, these are const, yeah. That would explain it. Okay, we're doing the silly mutable const thing again. So I was thinking of making an actual class out of this. But I was thinking, okay, what rules do I want that class to have, right? So the idea of a mutable const, at least my idea of it in my head, is that it's allowed to be moved, but you can't directly set it. Like operator equals goes away, but you can copy it. So you can like turn it into an R value. You can standard move it. I'm thinking like unique pointer style. But I don't know, that's probably like more in the future. I have to think about how I want to actually design that, because it's a more generic class, so I don't want to just throw something together and then try to figure out if it works well or not. So I want to design an actual templatable mutable const class, but I need to decide what problem I'm solving with it first. Oh, Electron. Yes, that's what it was called. It was like when you want to make a desktop app, but you don't want to make a desktop app because you're too lazy, so you make a web app. Moros got auto-blocked. That's hilarious. Why not? That's what I do. Well, if I was in the middle of this, I would be more keen to trying it. Oh, snap, you're back. Yeah, I'm back. I wasn't back yesterday because I wasn't feeling good at all. This is a 2D game. Think like SNES era. Basically like a Secret of Mana type of game. Like action-adventure. Right? With stats and items and weapons. And monsters. I myself don't think I'd hard code a polygonal 3D game, but rather use my custom general purpose engine. The only types of games I'd hard code are 2D games. I mean, I've worked on a little 3D game that is in this engine as well, so it's definitely doable, but it does, like, I've had to do a little more thinking when it comes to it, like adding an editor, but it's more like think like Wolfenstein style, so it's not like actually 3D in the sense of all three axes are constantly being used, but more like 2D, but it's rendered in 3D. Like 2D movement. What is going on here? So we have map range, no matching overload function found. Could be util map range. Map range. Okay, so this user-defined literal ENC is not found. It's supposed to come from, like, enchants or something. Let me see if I could find that real quick. That's a little more obscure. Underscore ENC. It should be somewhere in here. Dang, we have to do a deep cut. I don't think that's... Okay, here's some other code that uses that. So maybe we can grab it from here. ENC comes from config.h. Okay. So we have to include that in here, apparently. Yeah. I guess when I was redoing some stuff, some includes got lost. Is there a video to see a preview of the game? Yeah, I do have a trailer for the game on Steam. The game is called Adventures in Lestoria, so if you search for that, you'd be able to find it. I don't know why my Steam is closed. Okay, I will wait 10 seconds for Steam to load. I see you're using mini audio too. Oh yeah, mini audio is great. And Moros, who's in my Twitch chat right now, he made a little PegX for it, which is like a plugin system for the OLC Pixel game engine, to wrap the mini audio library as well. So that's great. Steam. Rustum. My brain never did well with geometry. I've done a few, like, small 3D tutorials. Mostly just, like, software-based engines. It looks like Steam is dead. Oh. Oh, good job, Steam. You tried. Alright, I'm gonna just keep rebuilding and seeing what comes up next. Oh, Steam restarted. Cool. But yeah. It is under Steam here, so the page does have a trailer, if you're just interested in seeing what it looks like. But, yeah. It's a cute little game. Inspired by, like, old retro RPG, action-adventure RPGs. It's pretty cute. Steam is having a very hard time actually, like, working right now, but yeah. You can see a little bit right there. It's definitely a little outdated, obviously, because back then it was a little different. It definitely looks more like prototypey than it used to. But, yeah. That was, I think, 2 years ago. So, game's definitely different now. My goal is to try and have the game completed this year, though. Like, if I keep working on it, which I have been for the past month now, then we're gonna make pretty good progress. Assuming I don't refactor my entire game, which for the last 3 weeks, I think we've been refactoring some major systems, mostly to improve the loading times and stuff, because they were getting pretty bad as my... Like, I will admit, I don't think I built some of these with, like, scalability in mind, so we've had to go back and do that. Let me see. Okay, because there's just some old includes I have to remove from a couple files. Yeah, we have to get rid of all these. In fact, I should probably just do a find and replace in general on this, because that shouldn't be there at all. Okay, it said it replaced... I don't even know what it... Okay, anyway. That did a find and replace on all those headers. Opposite of pirate software? I mean, to be fair though, like, I feel like most... At least if you're like an indie game dev who doesn't rely on income from a game dev, and you don't have like a boss or a publisher, then you kind of can do whatever you want, right? Like for me, I say I'm going to attempt to release at the end of the year, but if I don't, then I don't. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a hobby project. I'm never gonna treat it as something that I have to release. I would like to, that'd be nice, but I'd rather release my game in the state in a quality level I want it to be at. So if through like testing and polishing I want to change things, then those take as long as they do, right? So I will admit, I don't think Pirate Software is necessarily the best developer, but they also just work on their game whenever they can, presumably. But yeah, I feel like there's been a lot of things, a lot of markers on Pirate Software for all sorts of things, so it's not necessarily just the programming stuff. On-screen celebrate... Yeah. I guess so. Yeah, Kenny. Okay, so I presume this is... Oh, is this the one that uses the other... Oh my god, here's the one that uses the other constructor. Okay, okay. So, there is a difference between this fall effect and the other one. And I'm going to assume that I wanted that specific behavior for, like, the shadows. Because if I use the Z value, the engine automatically creates shadows because it's like, oh, it's Z, so it's in the air. Versus with the Y, there is no shadow. So I assume I wanted the shadow specifically. And so that means I do need this version of fall effect, but I need to call it something else. I can call it, like, falling snow or something. I think that's better. Or just like, what would I call this? It's kind of hard to say because I'm already using fall effect. Like, I could call it falling debris, like the file is supposed to insinuate. Like, this would be falling debris. Or fall with no shadow. Like, that sounds very verbose. Fall with shadow effect? That sounds silly, right? I guess. I'm just gonna go with that for now. That's fine. Okay. Fall W shadow. And just put that in its own CPP file. Or maybe I can combine it with fall effect, because they're very much related, so I don't mind if they're both in here. So it would look like this. And then I just have to remove the defaults, so they're not redefined. Is this game going to be Windows only? It's going to have a native build for Windows, Mac, and Linux, and web. Like, the demo is currently available on multiple platforms, which is nice. That's one of the nice things about the OLC Pixel game engine. It was made with multi-platform compatibility in mind, and the moment the community figured out Emscripten, boy, that made a huge difference. That's what sold me on OLC Pixel game engine. I'm like, once I can build for web, I'm sold. You got me. You got me for all native popular operating systems, plus web. That's all I need. Just like a simple framework that does it all. A game that's native to Linux. Yeah, it works very well. I'm very happy about it. Yeah. Like, I tried it not too long ago on Steam Deck, because my girlfriend got a Steam Deck for Christmas, and I tried it on her Steam Deck, and it was amazing. Like, I was so happy and excited to see my game running on Steam Deck, because I implemented the Steam API, specifically the controller API from Steamworks, and I'm like, in theory, it works for Steam Deck. But I never got to actually try it, right? So when I finally got to try it and see my game, like, on a little console device, I'm like, that's actually amazing. It kind of, I'll be honest, it kind of inspired me to start working on the game again. I was, like, super motivated after seeing that. I'm like, man, I should like, get up and finish this game. It's kind of fun. Yeah, like, I never got to build, mostly because I didn't want to remove or... I had to, like, comment out a bunch of Steam stuff, so I wasn't gonna bother with it until, like, it was actually release time. I don't know how hard it'll be to upgrade to PG-3, but it is an experiment I want to try when PG-3 is released, which I heard maybe this year. Like, probably this year? We can hope, right? That would be fun. I probably need to build, like, a sample game with it first to see how it works. Yeah, like, it's gonna probably require a major overhaul. Either that or, like, a wrapper. Like, PG 2 to 3 converter. Or something. But yeah, I'll have to learn how that works when it comes out. I haven't looked at the codebase yet. Mostly because it's still changing, right? So... yeah, compatibility layer. Okay, so I made this class. This is gonna be the replacement for what this gets constructed with. And I need to add it to our effect types under effect.h, and that should be good to go. So this is Fall W Shadow Effect, which is a bit of a strange name, but it's like the only thing that's different between the two. Okay, so we have that now. So the game is pretty, like, standard, like, fantasy. You are a hero that has to go out and adventure. Bad things are happening in the world, and you have to stop the big bad. Kill monsters, upgrade gear, get strong enough to defeat powerful boss. You kind of explore various, like, it's very fantasy, fantasy-esque, a little medieval. So, very, very traditional story. We don't need anything too fancy. Just silly adventure out to try and save the world. I think there's another const here, so that's not copyable or movable. That's my bad. Let me just restart this compile. Redo. And hopefully we make it a little further. Like, this better not have become I don't want to have to spend more time trying to figure out why this variant is no longer movable. It looks like everything's good, though. Yes. So... let's see what's next. What is the next error we are dealing with? Okay, scroll. Okay. I am worried about this one. So this one keeps popping up, and it's not clear why. Because a variant is included. These two are, what do you call it? Forward declared? And as long as they're forward declared, at least for a variant, this should be okay. So... I'm a little worried about that one. So I'm kind of ignoring it for now in the hopes it resolves itself, but it's entirely possible throughout all this we made a circular include, which is going to be devastating for me because tracking that down is going to be a pain. So I'm really praying it's not that. But usually if I get that kind of error, it usually is some kind of circular include. So I'm a little bit worried right now. It might be a long hunt to try and figure out what's going on there. So I have to include the game pointer there. That's a global. We have use of undefined type player. That's been fixed as well. Yeah, and a lot of includes got messed up because I removed some header files which transitively included things before. Visual Studio now tells you if a file has been transitively included, like a type has been transitively included, which is kind of cool. And it also has this like new ability to either optimize the include graph or tell you every transitively used include. So it's like, these are actually the includes this uses. So that's kind of cool. But obviously if you just have a mix of header files everywhere, some things are going to include other things, so it's gonna be a little tricky, but we could probably figure it out later. Outside of this project, I don't think I've seen mutable const. Had to search it up. Oh, I just made it up. That's not a real thing, by the way. Is it a real thing? If I'm understanding, it's for members which are part of a const object which need to be changed. Like, if you have a const function, you can use the mutable keyword to override it, but still keep the function const. I actually learned this pretty recently. But other than that, you can't use both keywords together. I made that up because in order for everything in this variant to be movable, I have to make them mutable. So I made this up, and I just wrote a comment that says, this type indicates our intention was for it to be const, but the class requires move assignability. Yeah. So that hopefully that clears things up. But if I went to like adventures in Listoria.h and I looked at, say, or maybe this is a bad example, maybe like player, that's probably a better one, .h, and I went to the draw function. Okay, this is a draw function for a different one. But either way, this function's const, right? It means everything in here, like the local variables for this object, cannot be modified directly. The compiler will not allow it. But if you make something mutable, you actually can mutate a variable in here. It's just going to ignore the const tag. But you can keep it const, so you can still keep const correctness for other uses. Yeah. How is the in-game HUD made? Is it a library or a custom system? Oh, it's all custom built, and it was a very painful process. I've been warned in the past that making your own UI system is a very painful process, and it sure as hell was. So yeah, here are all the headers for the interface system. I have what's called a menu component, and everything derives from a menu component. And we have some like basic functions like update and draw. Everything has like an on hover, an on mouse out, mouse in, right? So it can like listen for stuff. Fun. And then every component has what's called a parent component, which means components can store each other, like for scrollable windows. So it can know if it has components inside of it. And yeah, subcomponent parent. I even made a structure to keep track of like data. Like it's like a log of just like memory leak stuff, so I know what was the last thing that was called before. Like this used to all be raw pointers, by the way. I switched to like a shared pointer system, shared and weak pointer system. That way menu components know when each other die, so they don't keep referencing each other anymore. So that was fun. But yeah, it's all custom made. It was very annoying to build. I think that was probably around like day 100 of development or so to like day 130. It took like a whole month to get everything implemented. It was rough. You mentioned Steamworks earlier. Do they provide gamepad support, whether it's a Steam game or not, or does it have to be a Steam game? It doesn't have to be a Steam game, but you still have to implement it, if that makes sense. So like if you're like don't have a Steam ID, right, you get to use like this default ID. I forget what game they use. There's a certain game that like you can use. It's like game ID 0, and like it's apparently just some random game on the Steam library, and I'll show you as playing it if you run it with that. But essentially, you can make it compatible with it, and then you get like the overlay and stuff, but it'll say like you're playing that game, which is funny for like dev purposes. Space War, there it is. Yeah, like I don't know what significance of Space War is, but apparently it's a thing. I don't even see it on here, because it's not these, is it? Does it even show up? Yeah, I don't think that's what it is, but it's like called Space War. It just says you're playing Space War. I don't know what the significance of that is. I myself always make a custom HUD system. Yeah, that's fine. Rolling your own is fine. It's probably harder, but it lets you do whatever you want, right? So that's important. And if I'm not like on a time crunch or anything, then doing everything yourself, especially for learning purposes, is very good. Okay, we need to include GFX here. Again, many of our includes just got lost or messed up, so we get to put all these back. So include, it's another global, so just include that here. That fixes that. But yeah, my game does have an ID, so I just set it to that, and that makes sure that when I'm playing it, it says it's the right game. Essentially, yeah, that's exactly what I did. So my initial issue was it wasn't working perfectly with every gamepad I was throwing at it, right? At least with the Steamworks API, you can customize any controller you throw at it, which you kind of can't with the gamepad PegX, right? If it doesn't detect it, it doesn't detect it, and you're kind of done. So Steamworks just has more general compatibility, which is why I decided I wanted to use that. And also, I got some other benefits from implementing Steamworks API. Of course, like your achievements, you can display a custom status while people are playing your game. I think the other one was keeping track of certain stats. Yeah, so that's nice. How has using OLC been? Oh, it's been fantastic. And I mean, you basically are using OpenGL with OLC Pixel Game Engine, just without actually remembering all the OpenGL calls. And I've done OpenGL just in the past, but I'm like, it's kind of annoying to use. And it just gets in the way of making a game, which is the whole point of making a game, is I want to make the game, not make the camera point in a certain place and all the textures be rotated correctly and the memory be reassigned correctly and store everything in properly, right? Like, that's stuff we shouldn't have to deal with, so something like OLC Pixel Game Engine abstracts all that for us. I respect the crazies who make their own HUD systems. The standard in smaller projects seems to be using IMGUI. IMGUI is very nice, and you just literally throw it in and hook it up to your rendering system and you're done. Yeah, that's kind of fun. Same thing here. I already did that. Ink bullet. So many things we have to add that were just given to us for free before. I almost feel like I should just make the include macro include the file. I feel like that would make sense, but whatever. IMGUI is for debug editor UIs. For in-game HUDs, there are actual libraries. That is true. I guess it depends what you need out of it. Yeah. Like, you can tell the moment IMGUI is used. Like, instantly. You just see that gray background with the blue header with that system looking font, and you're like, yep, that's IMGUI. Some people change the color. Whoa. That'll make it look different. But yeah. GFX. Yeah, just a lot of minor fixes now for these compile errors, but like I said, if we're getting to just the, like, missing include stuff, then we're getting pretty close to fixing everything. Like, we're done messing with the hard stuff. Just fixing any random, like, things that are missing now. What is this complaining about? Okay. Include GFX. Sound effect is not a class or namespace name. Oh boy. Yeah. Include sound effect. Okay. We need game. Include underscore game. That fixes that file. The reason IamGUI gets a bad reputation is because it tends to be used as a quick default show me info stuff rather than being the actual application use case. Okay, we need player in here. Include player. Man, there's so many more transitive includes before. That's wild. Okay. No such file directory here. That's fine. That's an easy one. This one's gone too. Syntax error. Uh-oh. Oh yeah, that's definitely changed. Yeah, that's just a typo. Okay. No matching redefinition of default argument. It looks like I forgot to remove some defaults. They're in there. Yeah, I just didn't go far enough, I guess. Feels like I opened a little bit of Pandora's box with IamGUI. It's like, just the right tool, using the right tool for the right job, right? It's nice to know what options exist out there. I think part of the fun of me working on this Pixel Game Engine game is that, like, I kinda did have to build everything by hand, so that was fun. It's a good learning experience, especially for a game of this scope. It looks like I'm just outright missing that. That's funny. Yeah. Yeah, so it's made with the Pixel Game Engine, which the whole point, it does like two things. It knows the concept of pixels, so like it doesn't smooth out everything with like a linear filter or a smoothing filter. It literally like the shader makes sure that every pixel is just crisp. You can turn it off if you want, but that's like the concept of the engine. Unfortunately, with the decal system, which is like the way of interfacing with the GPU, it doesn't really follow as many of the pixel rules. So unfortunately, if you like scale things, then they will grow in like pixel size, which kind of ruins the effect. PG3 though, the next version, is going to fix a lot of that and stay kind of true to the pixel idea while putting even more things on the GPU, which it looks absolutely beautiful. Like, I'm super excited for that. It does rotations pixel perfectly, it does scaling pixel perfectly. It's just wonderful, and it runs faster, because it does, I believe you can batch calls? Correct me if I'm wrong, Moros. I saw a little bit of code about that. So, just a lot of exciting features coming up for the Pixel Game Engine, which is really cool. Okay, this isn't supposed to be a weak pointer anymore. This is now an effect ref. We can actually auto it, because it will auto-deduce the type. And then this is now a get, and this is now a member function. Yeah, you can batch your drawings, so that's amazing. And yeah, I'm totally a sucker for the retro pixel game aesthetic. I think a lot of indie devs are. It's also just really easy to work with, and I think it looks pretty nice. So, yeah. It looks like these are the only build errors. Okay, so now I get to figure this part out. Missing type specifier, missing a semicolon before standard variant. Monster player. Well, it's definitely not missing a semicolon because there's a semicolon right here. This is just the keyword mutable, so that's not the issue. This sounds to me like a circular include issue, because if it's not a syntax issue, which it's not, and I'm forward declaring player and monster here, which are pointers, which should be allowed in theory, then we should be okay. I think I confirmed this in my example, but let me go open my example project and see if I have to include the types for a pointer. I don't think I have to. Like, I think our test, yeah, we just made up two classes called Fuzzy and Pudding. They are not defined anywhere in this code. I just literally made them up and told the compiler they exist somewhere and put them in a variant. And this code does compile. Like, I literally casted this pointer to a fuzzy pointer, and the compiler's happy with that because a pointer is a pointer is a pointer. So that isn't the issue. So I think somewhere we have a include that we shouldn't have, so we have to check these guys to find it. I want to try writing my own take on a classic Sonic retro engine inspired by the retro engine by Christian Whitehead. Okay. Sonic is a very fast-paced game. You have to have pretty tight collision detection and physics for that one. So that'd be cool. Let's see. So buff uses attributable stat, which only requires safe map, so that's good. Hurt damage info. Okay, hold on. Let me look at this. I don't think this requires anything. It shouldn't require anything other than standard stuff. It does include error.h, which only includes standard library. Hurt damage info. Literally just structs and enums. Friendly type is an enum. Weird. Missing type specifier. Like, is it the mutable const? Mutable const is defined in defines. I guess I should include defines. Don't think I saw defines, but I also don't think it... Like, I don't know. I feel like that would be the only other thing. My long-term goal is to remake Lufia 2, but make it less grindy and make the ancient cave a more prominent story element. That'd be cool. Using C and Vulkan, ooh. And writing a tile system and a tile editor. That's fun. Sounds like a pretty big game then, if you're going to be making all that. Like, this has been a passion project for the last 3 years, so... And it's not a very large game. This is like a medium scope project for like an individual solo developer, right? And even then, I'm not solo. Like, I outsourced somebody to help with the music. Most of our graphics are outsourced. And I had somebody else actually design the game. Like, the game is not my idea. This game was designed by somebody else, and I am implementing the programming for it. So, but they designed it all, and we just ooh, we're on to linker. Progress. Linker time. Alright. So we have get background effects is an unresolved external symbol. Okay, because that's static, so I think that's fair. Let me go look at that. That is also, I think, old though. I don't think that's supposed to be in here anymore. But let's see. Get background effects for AIL. Yeah, these two are not a thing anymore. I said that the effect manager was going to manage those now. So those need to be gone. Effect manager background list is static. So it's supposed to be initialized elsewhere. Effect manager. My guess is that I did not inline them. But I should. Let me see. Also, what's this D? What? Standard vector shared pointer effect. That seems like a mistake. We don't use shared pointers anymore. Okay. These are supposed to be in... No, wait. Where are the... Here's the list. I'm just gonna inline them. So they're initialized right here. And I'll also initialize these two size T's. Like so. A pixelated Toho fan game. I am a Toho fan. All the music that I play on my stream is from a game, well, multiple games called Toho Genso Wanderer. It's like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, but for Toho. I really love these games, so these were like, I played these a lot. I always wanted to make like kind of a roguelike inspired by Toho, and those games kind of satisfy that niche. Let's see. Background effect list. We have Fall W Shadow Effect update. Did I not add that? Fall W Shadow Effect, which is in... Where did I put that? I put it in Fade in... No, I put it in Fall Effect. Okay, so where's the header for it? Did I forget that about the header? I think I did. And that's probably why it doesn't exist right now. Because we have fall effect.cpp. And then in effect types, we have fall W shadow effect right here. Fall W shadow. Let me try rebuilding real quick. Are we going to talk about how Zune is still using DirectX 9 in 2026? I mean, hey, if it works, it works, right? Like, I'll be honest, if Pixel Game Engine 2... If Pixel Game Engine 3 wasn't right around the corner, I would be happy with using Pixel Game Engine 2 for the next 10 years, probably. Unless OpenGL, like, becomes obsolete. Which, that's what Apple's trying to do, right? But Apple's always trying to obsolete everything. These are not found. What? Well, they're not supposed to be found because I got rid of them. Oh, we have a function that relies on them. Get all effects. Okay. Do I use this anywhere and why? We use it in... We do use it for unit testing. It looks like I use it... Why is this all cramped? Okay, that's... What is this? This is... Get a specific effect. Okay, so... We do have to fix these. Okay. Foreground and background effects in one vector. Trying to think what would be a best choice here. I think what I would like is an array of effect limit times 2 size returned here. Or I can return a pair of 2 reference wrappers to both arrays. I think that would be better. It would be less intensive, and then I can just return both in a pair, which I kind of like more. I feel like that would make more sense if I were going to use this in the first place. Yeah, I think I like that. Okay. So let's do standard array, effect data, effect limit. And then we'll have 2 of these in a pair. The first one is going to be the foreground, the second is the background. And then I guess we need to specify that in one vector. Foreground, comma, background. I feel like the type it returns should specify that, that way I'm not confused. So maybe we'll, at this point, make a using for it, that way we actually know what we're doing here. So maybe like... Maybe I'll just name these. Well, I can't name... I guess they would be the same thing, yeah. It'd be like... using foreground effects array equals this, and then same with background effects array. And then I just plug these in so it looks... so I kind of know what this actually is returning and what order they're returned in. Okay, so that's fine. So whenever I see James Lambert videos, I always ask myself, what would happen if you decide to actually make a game everybody would want to play? And my answer is, goodbye Ubisoft, EA, Blizzard. That's cute. I'd believe it. Some people like Jonathan Blow correctly point out that OpenGL is essentially deprecated since it hasn't had an update in years, but I think the more common recommendation people take of go learn Vulkan doesn't consider how much hardware runs OpenGL versus Vulkan. In my opinion, the compatibility of OpenGL will keep it viable for many more years. And I agree. I have a Windows 98 computer behind this monitor, and I'm currently trying to make PGE run on it. Like, I'm not even kidding. I've been toying with it just for fun. And it can run, in theory. I want to kind of try and make it happen. It would be funny if I could. Also, this is a typo. I think that would be absolutely hilarious. Okay. Yeah. It's also using, like, ancient C++. So I get like, what, C++4 or something stupid? I'm like, C++ back then looked very different. And I am learning the hard way that almost nothing no C++ knowledge today applies, which is kind of hilarious. It's like even the syntax is very different. It's wild. It's like I have to learn a whole different language. Okay, so that's not what this is supposed to be. So get all effects is going to return... Okay, so this isn't right. This should just be a particular effect, right? This is a vector of... Oh, I see. It's a vector of every effect that matches. So I guess it would be like a vector of... How would we go about this? Let's see. So it's like... We want a vector of effect data returned from this. So it's like standard... Or not even standard, we'll just say effect data. Because I'm thinking like... Would these be reference wrappers? Yeah, they would be, because it would be copying the data itself. So let's say these are reference wrappers to effect data. Because I don't want to recopy the effect, and we now know that effect data is going to have that information. So in here, get all effects, we have to filter. So it would be... How would this work? This would be like... We couldn't use this yet. We would have to do each one individually. So it'd be like get all effects stuff first combined with second. So we could do like... It'd be like a combination. It'd be like a copy, kind of. It's like a combination of first and second together. So I think we just do a standard ranges for each here. That makes more sense. And if it matches, we can filter then by type. And the for each will just be for adding it to an array. I guess that would mean we can do like a copy if too. Copy if makes more sense. I think we found out copy if does exist in here. Copy if. Copy if range output predicate. So we just have to make a new one. This would be like match or found effects. Okay, so get all effects stuff first. Insert it into found effects using this predicate. I mean, I could just filter it straight up. Then I wouldn't have to copy if, I would just for each. I think I like that better. Doesn't really matter. It results in the same thing, but I just like to have the filter up front instead of doing the condition in the lambda. So it would look more like that. And then this can go away. And that needs to now be effect data. And it would be effect dot... Well, we need to get type. So this is going to be like EFF wrapped around the variant, which is effect.effect, I believe. And then dot get type is equal to type. Gets inserted into found effects. But if this is a for each, I have to take each value obtained from the filter and insert it into found effects. So this would actually turn into a copy, I think, if I know using the filter what I'm copying. So that actually makes more sense. So the copy is, I think this, comment that. What am I missing? First, last, and output? No, range and output. Oh, I have to turn this back into a range, I guess. So standard ranges 2. Let's see, we want a vector of reference wrappers to effect data. I think last time I did this, I was able to auto-deduce it just by putting vector, though. Like, it figured out the rest. I think. So, we'll see if that works. So it does that for this, and then I want to do the same, but for the other range as well. The second range. Like so. It doesn't like this though. Is the destination supposed to be a back inserter? I feel like it's supposed to be an iterator. Let me see. Standard back inserter. Alright. Okay, it's happier with that, so now I just have to return whatever's in found effects. Cool. So I think we did that. Yeah, lambdas, automatic type deduction, default constructors. Yeah, like C++3. Like 3, 7. Is that when, are those like, yeah, I don't know which one it was, but I just found that interesting that that was a thing. Decoration is incompatible. Oh, because I changed this. I need to go change it on the other side. Yes. Okay. So we should be good with that. And then I need to look at get all effects to kind of like fix that up now. Because get all effects, we're returning like a pair. So I did standard ranges merge on get foreground effects and get background effects. I don't think we necessarily have to do that now. We just return them. So we can return a pair. Let me grab that real quick. The standard pair of foreground and background effects arrays. And then in here, we just return effect manager, get foreground effects, and get background effects. And that should be all we have to do there. Okay. So that fixes those up. I still like trying to utilize the range and view stuff. That's kind of fun. It's a little tricky, but I want to keep trying to use it, try to get my brain more used to using them. There's not really any reason, just it's something different, so it's fun to try and make it work. Oops. Get effect. It's like, yeah, I feel like that's probably a good way to do it. I like to say to my friends that Vulkan versus OpenGL is kind of like Wayland versus X11. If Wayland were actually ready to replace X11, I watch people go nuts. That's funny. I remember my only experience with Wayland is that it came pre-installed with like one of the latest Ubuntu installs I had, and nothing was working. And the moment I deleted or disabled it, everything was fine. I'm like, okay, great. And that was the only experience I had with it so far. Okay, so this needs to be a vector of reference wrappers of effect datas. So then, what is this supposed to do? So this is supposed to be portals. So portals are... Huh? Oh, we're looking for blink portals. And then if we find some, we teleport to them. So I need to deduce the effect from those. From the first one found. And only the first one found, apparently. And then do things. And we need to define EFF, which is inside of defines. Okay. So then we're good there, maybe? Unless it doesn't know, oh, they're reference wrappers, right. So it's .get. Okay. So that's fine. Wayland is ready. BS. I call BS. Last time I used it, it didn't work out of the box. I'm mad. It didn't work with my particular hardware on my system out of the box. I am mad. Okay. Visit. No matching overload function found. Wait a second. Wasn't this talking about portals? What type are portals? Do we have a new type we've ignored? So we have an effect type called blink portal. What uses this? Blink portal is an effect types.h under... Okay, under the set type, we create a fade in out effect. Okay, fade in out effect should be fine. Let me see. Function definition not found. Ooh. Are we just missing a constructor? It isn't here. At least according to this, it's not. So maybe they don't match? Okay, let's investigate. So it's supposed to be VF2D pause, const string image, float lifetime, float cycle speed, bool on upper level, float size, VF 2D speed, pixel color, float rotation speed, bool additive blending, float particle spawn frequency, a const standard function of return type effect with const effect reference. Self. Okay. I mean, it looks correct. Hi there, Crate Fox Studios. Welcome. Thanks for the follow. Excuse me, Wayland. I need to speak to your manager right now. It just says function definition not found. I think it is here. I don't think that's the issue. But it says visit no matching. Okay, let's actually look at this now. This is for standard optional effect T being compiled. I must have messed something up here. Oh, I see. So it's in here for an optional. Oh, it's an optional. I forgot. So we have to go one step further. It's effect.effect and then member access has higher priority than dereference. So I have to do the same thing for that portal thing I just modified, which is in, I forget where, but we have to do it there too. So this is an optional, right? Okay, yes. Is there a way to make this error out if it's an optional? Because I've done that a couple times now. I mean, I could just make it like, I could do what I did before and make a template of it that specifically static asserts on optionals. I might do that later, but I keep missing that. Hi there. This is the development of an action-adventure role-playing game called Adventures in Lestoria, and we are currently working on refactoring the effects system so that it no longer heap allocates for every little particle in the game, which sounds like a terrible idea because it was a terrible idea. Conversion loses type qualifier. This is for effect types line 103. Cannot convert from T to effect reference. Const meteor. Okay. Like this is const. Is this const because the function is considered const? I think that's why. I think I'm gonna remove that. I don't know if that necessarily makes the effect const. I don't think it should, in theory. I'm gonna remove that and see. I don't think that's the reason. There must be something else. Because it says the type is const meteor, but it doesn't say where it's called from. So I'm not sure what we're dealing with here. Yeah, actually. That's exactly what I did. And I did it for every particle in the game. And it was just a side effect of me implementing it a long time ago without really thinking about the consequences. And we didn't produce any intensive enough particles or fast enough amounts, like frequency of particles, to where we noticed anything. But as of the latest effect I was trying to do, I started to notice micro stuttering in my game, which is definitely not good for a real-time application. Like, micro stuttering is a very bad user experience, naturally. So that made me realize that I am doing something wrong. And if it stutters a little bit on this computer, which is a really powerful computer, you can only imagine what it would do on a weaker system. It would just be absolutely terrible. Okay. Somehow we're getting const going into here, and I'm not entirely sure why. Cannot convert from T to effect reference with const foreground effect. I think I have to cast it. Because it's going to be... Wait. Let me see here. Because it's like this is going to be... I think the type itself needs to be defined as a T? Okay. Well, this abstraction is making things hard, isn't it? So, this return function is what gets filled in right here, and this is returning apparently not an effect reference. This is returning like, well, it's returning T reference, which maybe I should specify its const for the return type. Maybe that's the problem. I'm not sure what's coming in as const though. I just figured out how to make a game that always updates without ever needing to make users update. Steam has their HTML service API. Oh, that's interesting. That sounds fun. Get effect being compiled. Effect T. Return cannot convert from const effect to effect reference. Let me see here. So this is... cannot convert from const effect to effect reference. These are... so active or not active. A foreground effects list is just a list of effect data. And we just grab the effects from those. I think this macro is actually... let me see. Because this macro will expand out to say... cannot convert from const effect to effect reference. I wonder why it doesn't say const effect reference. Good. Okay, this might... I might have to actually, like, unmacro this and take a look at what's really going on, because this is just looking confusing. So, let me see. So let's say we had... I think this gets ignored, honestly. I wonder if I should auto it. Maybe I should auto it. But then we have get effect as well, which also returns a static effect reference. I feel like that one should also return... like, I don't know why I'm not using T here. It's kind of weird. Why am I not using T there? Let's try that first, because T should be able to resolve that for us. I'm not really sure what the point of me doing effect there is. That's like the most confusing part about this like standard visit, is trying to understand what template it's generating because of all the different types, right? Is like, that part is what keeps getting me. Oh, is this not auto-deduced now? Is that what happens? Let me see. Because, like, the .get... I guess the .get doesn't know what it is. It's just .get returns the effect T from an effect... oh wait, no, that's the effect reference wrapper. So effect T converted to effect. This is just a variant. It doesn't know what the type is. So it's not going to return the variant, it's supposed to return the actual type. Which is why I think we returned effect in the first place, because we want an effect out of it. So I just have to downcast it, I think. I think we're allowed to do that. We just dynamic cast it. Okay. I think that makes more sense. So... although I was kind of expecting it to auto downcast. Like, for real. I'm surprised it doesn't. So this would be like a dynamic cast to an effect ref, which is what I would expect it to do in the first place. Are you using a storage buffer? So I'm using a standard array that's of a fixed size, and we have this like effect reference. Where is my stuff? We have this like effect manager, so it holds these two lists, and then if we want to reference anything, we get an effect ref out of add effect, which is somewhere else, but an effect ref basically kind of works like a weak pointer for any given slot. It has a slot ID and effect ID, so it knows what slot into the array it should be accessing, and it's only valid if the effect ID still matches whatever is in the slot of the effect ID. That way we know if it expired or something. And that's pretty much it. But yeah, I purposely made it so the only way we can get access to an effect reference is through adding an effect. That way we don't just... Cannot use dynamic cast to convert from T to effect. Really? That's weird. Where T is... Const trail effect. Like, it's for all of these though, right? Yeah. That's like every single one. That's weird. Because it's like, it's just saying that it can't return an effect reference for a T reference? Like, I'm just trying to think here. Okay, so for this function operator overload is supposed to match this to a given type to tell it what to return. And the whole goal is to make it so get effect gets generated with the correct... with the ability to return any given variant. So get effect gets called in, or appears. Get effect overloads, and this is get effect. Standard visit, effect, get effect overloads, comma, effect. So that would be the standard visit, which should match what's in here, and will then return that as the object, which is supposed to be an effect reference. It's like it's just not matching it. I think the struct has to be templated too. Like maybe I have to do this. Like, I'm not sure to what extent I'm supposed to put the template keyword here. So let's just go back here real quick. So this was the idea, right? Was it would auto create the variant function based on what effects were in the variant and what I supplied, so that when I did, let me see, this is just standard variant with some kind of effect, it doesn't matter what it was. Let me just set to effect A, but we can also have like an effect B, which is also derived from effect, and effect had like, so then we had the ability to change it, right? If we did EFF effect, we could do dot number. Oh, I just had this, so I made an abstraction of that, which is just looks like this, and EFF calls effect get effect from variant, which is this create variant macro. Effect is undefined. Oh, it's right below. So it would look like this, and then I would say EFF dot, in this case, pause. Did I do this wrong? Effect get effect. This has to be defined after this one? Like ordering matters, I think? No, it doesn't. Oh, we're not in a class called effect, that's why. This would just be get effect in this scenario. So then it would be like dot pause equals whatever. And in theory, that would generate that. Like that should be all we need in theory. I messed up somehow? God, okay. What did I do? Expected a closing parenthesis. Right here? That's not right. This diagnostic occurred in the compiler generated function example effect reference example get effect. I mean, yeah. Oh, does that have to be inline? Is that the issue? Wait, that doesn't make sense though, does it? Because it's like undefined. What is this syntax error? I don't know where this, why it says this is a syntax error. Is it because I missed one down here, maybe? Like a semicolon? No. We also have a redefinition, which I don't think should be a thing. Yeah, so that can go away. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't even know if you can have a static function here, I'll be honest. Like, That doesn't really make sense, right? I guess it could be generated though. You could generate a static function, I'm pretty sure. That wouldn't be an issue. I just don't know what's complaining about here with a... Did I include visit? Is visit just not a thing? Let me see. I'm gonna have this pretend t is... what? Effect real quick, just to see if maybe something obvious would appear. Right? I mean... Error instantiating the template with provided arguments. Why? Unless... Is that why? Okay, that was why. That was a typo. Okay, so that works, right? That should work. As in, like, we would get a position out of this, and it would change that position? So yeah. In theory, that's how it should work. So looking back here... This is under effect? I don't think it would be under effect, would it? Well, create variant is down here. So I guess it would be, but at the same time, technically that would work too. I don't think that's the issue, but I'm trying to think what else we would have to do here. I guess this could be inline as well. I really just like scene graph based game engines like Unity or Godot. I've seen a lot of them, so I feel like they got something going on. I think the idea is that your node tree has like certain things about your game, and then you can destroy some node higher up, and all the elements inside that tree get destroyed. I can see how that could be beneficial. Cannot deduce template arguments for effect ... func name _ overloads. I don't think that's what it's supposed to be though. It's supposed to be like... I think this isn't resolving here. I think this is just being like copy pasted as is. Like that's what I'm thinking. Like what if I have two of these, right? Just use a different type, so like technically generates two of these. And then like I think something goes wrong here. And no, it does work. Well, I guess that's probably like a personal preference thing, right? Like, there are great games built in both, so, or all three, so saying one is better than another is a little bit opinionated, right? I don't have any experience in any of those, so I couldn't tell you. That's fair. It's fair to have trauma. That's for sure. I'm trying to think what else could be an issue here. I want to say something like this could be, potentially. Does that build? So this does build, so that's not an issue. It's like, to me, I guess this syntax would keep creating operators inside of this thing for everything. So that's interesting. I mean, that's also good, but it's not working on my side, and I'm not sure why. Because again, it says, cannot deduce template arguments, so... What are... Wait, so it's effect T. So effect T is that variant, right? Yeah. From here? Okay. So it's saying it could be function name _ overloads void, or function name overloads T. What? But it's like whatever we passed in here should match that type. In this case, it's just a regular effect. So it just says it cannot deduce. I wonder why. Like at this point in time, it's literally just an effect. It should know that. I think I'm just gonna cast it and see what happens. Because we know it's an effect right now. I want to see what happens if I do this. Or wait, no, that's a variant. Hold on. Yeah, I'm a little confused right now. Effect is Wait a second. This effect is set to the optional effect data effect member. And that's the one I'm drawing from, I think, because I'm calling, yeah, this effect, which is an optional. So that makes sense to me. Like, what happens if I just put 0 here? Like, I wonder what would happen. It's not gonna, it's not the intent of it, but I want to see what else happens. Okay, then it goes to here. So anything involving get effect doesn't work right now. Okay. So that's telling. I mean, this is in effect.cpp. If we include effect.h, effect.h does include effect types.h, so it's not like that is not being generated. Well, that might not be true. Like, the effect class is not necessarily generated on the fly, it's predetermined, right? So it's like, this templated class, this template does not get executed for every type. I think that's the issue, like, this has to be outside, like in a global scope or something. Because, like, if this type has to be known, if this is not a templated type, it's just gonna generate it on the spot. Or it's not going to generate these on the spot. Because that would change the size of the class, potentially. So it's like, once this effect is defined, the stuff inside can't be generated. So I would just make these global. It would be called get effect. It's starting to make me wonder if I even need a standard visit for this. If I can just... If I know all of them are supposed to be an effect type, I guess I still have to get it is the issue. Oh my god, I found the goddess of all queens. Aw. Thank you, and welcome. It's cute. I appreciate that. So yeah, I think the issue is this is inside of a template or not a template class. So it's like, I have to... Well, but it is inside the struct as a template, so does that... This just makes me more confused. It's like... I don't know if my logic makes sense here. Like, let's say we had another class inside of this. I guess that would be a way to emulate that, in a sense. On, like, effects or something. And then these exist inside there, right? And it's like... How does it know these are the functions that exist inside of effects? If I had to do like this. I don't know if it does. Also, I guess these would have to be public or something. Like effects, get effect. It would look like this, right? Simping for the engine dev girl. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it does work here. It's not working here, so that's frustrating. It's like, I either missed something or something is very different here compared to there. So what we end up here with is... just could not deduce template argument. Which is like... weird. Did not expect to have to deal with this today. It's like... Maybe... Okay, well, let's try a different approach then, because it is a template function, right? So, naturally... Let me jump back to where I modified this. So... Whatever visitor function we get out of this, it's going to be matched here. So I do feel like the T is supposed to come out like this, but then... Yeah, it's just saying, no matching overload function found. It generated, I guess... Well, it doesn't look like it really generated either. Do I just inline this other one? Let me try that. Wait, does this thing know what an effect T is? Because effect types.h is included in effect.h, right? So... if effect types is up here, how does it know what the types are? Maybe it doesn't. Okay, maybe that's the issue. Because like in this example, I think the types are known, but then they get generated, right? They get generated right here. Types are known beforehand. I'm trying to think, maybe in this case they're not known? Like, that's the only thing I could think of. Like, maybe it doesn't know what effect T is. So what if we put them up here? That'll kind of like hint to it that these are the types it can be. Oh, now it's just saying undeclared identifiers. Incomplete type, okay. Right, these are all unknown up to this point. So this is defined after all these guys are defined. So how does this know what to generate beforehand? Like, looking at it this way, effect comes first, right? Everything derives off of effect. So if effect comes first, how does it generate get effect for any given function? Given that this is just creating one of these, it doesn't know what to generate. Like, because this isn't a template. So it's like, I guess my thing is get effect. Get effect, it should be a templated function because I specified it is. Statically. Like, something's amiss here. Something's not quite right. So does this mean get effect should be somewhere else after everything's defined? I guess that's the next thing I have to consider, is maybe we have to do something in here instead. That's the only thing I can think of. Like, the types need to be defined first before the get effects can be specified. Which means all this get effect stuff, in theory, might have to go somewhere else. So like, for example, in the effect manager or something, we can call like get effect. I think that's what I have to do. So I just copied it over here just to see. These are public, so I'm gonna start here and see what happens. So this is gonna look like this, and this is going to be effect manager, get effect, which I can define at the top of here, I guess. So that's just my theory. Like, maybe once all the types are known, it might actually be able to generate something. So now missing, this needs to be down here. This function doesn't exist, does it? Where did my create variant go? Right here. Oh, I think I just kind of broke that up, so it's not defined variant or create variant anymore, is it? It would look like this, just by itself. So that is the create variant. Okay, so we don't need that then, in theory. So fingers crossed this gets us somewhere. Because the only thing I can think of is up till this point, like if I'm trying to think template-wise, these types are not defined yet, so maybe it has trouble even figuring out that these are a thing. So it's still complaining about cannot convert from T to effect ref. Conversion loses qualifiers. I mean, like, can I just return a const casted version of it? Would that help at all? I don't feel like it should be... This should be an issue. Realistically. It's weird that it doesn't say reference either. It just says specifically const black hole. It's not like it's saying really where it's coming from either. It just says conversion loses qualifiers. Period. And that's really all it says. And I'm like, well, that doesn't help. Yeah, it's like these aren't it's not about the constness. It's like, well, I mean, it says conversion loses qualifiers, but like we test what this would look like if we actually followed this, right? It would be a like const monster soul. It would look like that. So qualifiers dropped in binding reference of type effect reference to initializer of type const monster soul. Detected during instantiation of effect reference. with T being const monster soul. So is including the reference the issue, I guess, instead of this? Like, is that what I'm supposed to do instead? Just thinking about it. It's like, but this technically doesn't fix anything either. Oh, apparently it does. Okay, let me think about that. Because originally I had this, right? Did I just not try this? But then I think something else happens when I do it this way. I'm pretty sure. Let me see. It's like, why does that have to be const? Also, I will be right back while this is building. Alright. Now what happened? So then we end up with these guys. So, no matching overloaded function found for what? With T being standard optional, uh-oh. I don't think I accounted for the optional here, so let me get rid of that. Yeah, it looks like I just missed that, which is kind of silly. Is there anything else? It's like, then I have this. So this is cannot convert from const effect to effect reference. So this is like the opposite of what I had before, which is like, So this is where T equals effect. Cannot convert from const effect. Oh wait, so now it's returning a const, right? But like, if I do that, then I can't modify it, right? Which is not what I want. So do I have to const cast it? Because that's not what we want, right? I'm just confused how we end up with const in the first place. Like, why? Why and how? But, I mean, technically, we can do this, right? Because I'm trying to think here, why we get const going into here in the first place, and why do we get it coming out? There must be a reason, like a core reason why that's happening. And it's happening to all of them, so it has to be maybe like with how we get them. Like, I don't think extracting an optional should be returning a const. In theory, I don't think so. Like, I mean, I can demonstrate here as an example, like, if these two were standard optionals, I don't think it matters for our use case. I guess that's the only part I didn't really test, right? And then I have to dereference these two. And it looks like in this case, it is compiling fine. So that can't be it. It's just strange to me. Ooh. Okay. Well, we made progress. We're back to linker, which is a little better than template errors, right? Unresolved external symbol black hole update. Okay. Black hole update. So this is black hole update, but it's inlined. That should not be a thing. Okay, I must have kept the inline keyword by accident. Let me see, trail effect. Did I do it for like a bunch of these? Oh, I made the constructor inline. That's fun. Trail effect draw. See, those should actually be defined in effect types. Oh, I see, they're inlined here too. Yeah, I just have inline everywhere by accident. So probably in these guys as well. Just copy paste errors. Call effect update. Okay, let me try recompiling. Are we finally gonna have, like, my goal for today and what I was really excited about going into the weekend was at least, does the game build? It doesn't have to work yet, it just has to build. Because the next thing we have to do right away is write those unit tests. And I want it to be at a buildable state. That would be great. That'd be super duper great. Does your audio engine allow looping sounds to a specific sample instead of looping to the very beginning? I mean, it could. I think we have a... Let me see here. That's the wrong place. I think I just called it BG. I swear I called it BGM. But apparently not. I just call it audio? I think what you're asking me is, can I just go like to a certain point in a song? And I think we have that, at least for like, I think I made it possible specifically for the intro song. Yeah. So I have a parameter called loop repeat start point. And if I were to change it, it would restart from there. I think there's only one song that actually uses it. I don't see it being used anywhere, so I'm not sure where it's used, but I think we made it as like tech for the future. With my sound designer, like I think originally we were gonna have like different songs that had loops that didn't restart from the beginning. I could have sworn we had at least one song that used it, but apparently not. That's funny. But I mean, it just shows that's one of the benefits of having like a custom engine, right? You kind of get to decide what effects you want to build in your engine. So that's nice. It says this update function doesn't exist. It's right here. So I'm not sure what it's complaining about. Fall W shadow effect update float. Unresolved. Fall W shadow effect update float. Bull update float. Okay. I'm not sure why that can't link if it's right staring right in my face. It's not inline. Am I missing something? We also have fall effect update not showing up. Fall effect update, I believe, is in that same file. Yeah, something's going on. Well, to try and logic the explanation out, I think it's just because engines are very generalized, right? So you can think like they have to cater to anything. So maybe it was just not a thing that they thought would be important. So then maybe it's left to the user to program or figure out how to program it, versus it being a base feature, while whatever other features they decided were more important, they were gonna use instead. Yeah, this is weird. This is like, okay, this is the CPP file. This is the header file. Maybe for some reason, okay, does it think this is a header file? Maybe that's why. Well, that would be weird if it thought it was a header file, right? Let me restart Visual Studio. Because, like, maybe me renaming the file from a header to a CPP did not click with the linker actually updating it. While on the topic of audio, I find ray traced audio pretty cool. What is a ray traced audio? I'm not a simp, I promise. Okay, well, same thing's happening, so... This is really strange. This is like, I guess what I should try and do is I think I need to, like, I'm convinced that Visual Studio doesn't know about this file right now. If that's what we're seeing. So I think what I'm going to do is take the contents from here and recreate them. I'm gonna just remove this because this file I renamed from a header file, and I'm worried that it doesn't think it's like it exists or something. So we're just gonna try this and see what happens. Creating directional rays to simulate how sound bounces off objects and hits players. Oh, okay. So it's like the concept of like 3D sound. Well, I guess it makes sense why it's like ray trace sound now. Oh look, so some of the linker errors went away, so I was right. It's Visual Studio being stupid. Okay. So I assume the same thing happens here. It doesn't think this file needs to be compiled, so I'm gonna delete it. And then I'm going to recreate it. My guess is that when we add a new file, a CPP file, that's probably what triggers it to say in the VCX project that this file now needs to be compiled. And if I just rename it, I think it doesn't trigger that adding, which is dumb, but I think that's what happens. Okay, and then, oh, it doesn't say this. Oh, these are inline though. Okay, that's fair. So that's a little different. And then we have, what else was it? Oh my god, are we finally gonna have a build of the game after, what, 2 weeks? Not all control paths return a value. Oh, that's interesting. But yes, we do have a build of the game. Finally. Woo! Okay, why doesn't this have control paths? Let me see. Not all control paths return a value in add effect. Add effect is in... Where's Adventures in Lestoria? Okay. Add effect. Not all control paths return a value. So we return here, and we return here. Wait, this is... Well, this whole thing's a for loop, which then... This is a drop while, so this is the for loop that returns. So if there's nothing in the for loop, what do we do, right? It's like there's an assumption that this is happening. So this is like standard unreachable. Will there ever be a case where this does not return? Let me see. So we find, okay, so if the list is full, right? Then we would have an issue. So what happens when it's full? That's the case we have to handle here. So effect list is full. Let's think about that for a second. Should we do nothing? Because it's definitely not unreachable. It's certainly possible that the list is full. I guess we can just do nothing. But this is expecting a reference, a return. So either the return type has to be optional, which then I have to go through and change all the add effects, or something has to happen. Just trying to think here. What we could do, this is a more interesting idea. What if we return the oldest effect type? Like we just start overwriting effects. So if we run out of space in the list, the oldest effect that's been generated will be the one that gets destroyed first and replaced. So we'll replace with the oldest one. Hi there, Water. Welcome. We just successfully compiled our game after 2 weeks of refactoring, so yay! That's exciting. But I do have to fix this because this does not have a returnable control path. Okay, so yeah, I think that's the idea. If first we just try to find a blank slot. If we don't find a blank slot, this won't execute and we're down here. So then we want to try the oldest we can find. So we do a... Okay, so basically we're going to look for the oldest, just keep track of the oldest and then return it. And then do stuff from there. So the idea is find oldest effect, overwrite that slot. Okay, so we are out of coding time for today, but we finally have a buildable version of the game, which is very exciting. So now we're at a point where the next time we work on this, we're just going to write the unit tests for it and see if this finally all works. Can you playtest? I mean, I could try. This case actually will be hit, so... What? Did I do something? Hold on. It says, was expected a statement, right. Let me... Normally I would write code there, but it's like, hey, you're supposed to put code here. I'll just run whatever was last in here, I guess. Oops. Run game? I have a script that can run whatever's in here. Let me see. Because I accidentally modified Adventures in Lestoria.h, which would be a full rebuild, but We don't need to do that. Oh, probably should stop the build. Because you're taking up all my CPU right now. And we don't need you right now. Did it crash? I think it crashed. Well, if that's the case, then something went terribly wrong. Yay! So that's something to find out later. Like I said, we don't know if the code is actually correct, we just know it builds, so that's for next time. Yeah. My guess is that it's probably trying to generate effects right at the beginning of the game, and something we're doing here is just not working. Not working right, so we'll figure that out. But yeah. We also have to write this. We have to figure out what to do when the effect list is full. But, thanks for you all that tuned in today. It's been a lot of fun, just chatting it up while trying to refactor everything. So, we'll see what happens next time. It looks like we got debugging to do, which, fun. That's the first thing we got fixed before we can even write the unit test for it. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, we'll see y'all next time. Take care. Back on Monday. Till the next one. Yeah. Bye-bye. Thanks for stopping by.